the CEO of socialhire.com, states that it takes time to develop content, conduct research, and grow your social presence to the point where it's actually strong enough to start generating applications and hires for your business. But it is well worth the effort. If your company is the proverbial hermit of your industry, you're not reaching your full potential. So put yourself out there and start developing valuable business relationships. After all, your business is only as strong as the people and the relationships that support it. If you would like to develop a stronger relationship with potential new hires, you may want to check out what an employee looks for in a business, or you might want to check out how to win friends and influence people in our life community. Kimberly Laws was a freelance writer and avid blogger and career counselor, and follow Kimberly on Google. And thanks for listening to our EDU. We'll be right back shortly.
Heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Soul missions and I'm heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Spit venom, some ice holes have no vision. They miss pippin', no right road, so they skipping. Been getting paper, I fold in old kitchens. They been missing no tight mode, the volition. Been tripping, no right porn, they still fishing. Still snitching, feds and state, they still listen. Still bipping, spitting, they flows, no real rhythm. I'm a real no stomach virus, still born from a barrel of killers, but still living. Fell down, had to stack and rebuild while in prison. Bread from the walkers and Thompsons, cold living. Bought my truck, no miles, one vision. Mom and pops told me I'm special, I have a mission, but I didn't know I had to do 20 years to get it, cause I'm gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Second child of 3, was I a blessing? Or was a blessing to being second, me no seconds? So affected by a motive, was so reckless, feeling so rejected. Having the paper shows the record, cold and restless, y'all clothed and I'm naked. But I'm convinced, I gotta show him who the best is. And I ain't wasting the bar, spit it till I'm breathless. Show him my heart is bigger than his chest is. Gotta give it all I got until they get it. Do it non-stop, aim it like a weapon. Never beyond lessons, calculate the steps in so they can recognize my quest without question. Silly speaking ain't nothing but dead wind. Gifted with the heat, know to fight next to kin. The game's giving me, but they ain't put the bread in, which means yeah, I'm finna, but I ain't put the gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. Gifted, heavily gifted with flow vision. I grow swift, stay ice cold with no slipping. Every time I move, I'm being. 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 Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I try to bandage these wounds, I'm being cut. Every time I try to get past the pain, it's more cuts and it's a shame, cause these wounds are in my brain from being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Woo! Every time I move, I'm being cut. Being cut.
Friends, I never heard of them. Sometimes I wanna murder them. You think you know me, you really don't and never will. So won't you quit saying my name, saying my name. Woo! Get 'em. I don't have you, don't know you nothing. So stay out of my lane, stay out of my line. I'm doing fine, a friend of mine. I'm strange in time, get out of mine. I know I have issues and problems, that's why I stay to myself. I know myself, love myself, take care of myself. Didn't ask for your help. Not at all. Jackson, that's off the wall. And since I have a past, you don't have to play with me. I have losers and criminals around me and stray people that's played, so go away. And I don't have no problem. So please go away. Let me be partial. Gonna stat to the world and then the marshal. I'm afraid I'm gonna lose it, and I can prove it. Woo!
Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I try to bandage these wounds, I'm being cut. Every time I try to get past the pain, it's more cuts and it's a shame, cause these wounds are in my brain from being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Genocide when many die that they finna crime and begin to cry, cause they push and fight and keep their sin inside. Angry, I'ma throw my grin aside. Why couldn't they keep him alive? Them old words just spitting been alive. Arm leg, it would've been alright. Paul Monroe still been alive. Let's be honest for a second. You could be me and I'ma be you. One of your sons was playing in the park. Cops come through and they hit him with 2. First reaction, hit him with 2. Second reaction, hit him with truth. Thinking assassin, end him in 2. You won't be thinking about keeping it cool or keeping the peace. Anger increase, you dumb. My son was wrongly deceased. Fault in your mind will be on the police. You would no longer want them in the streets. Not guilty, you would want to blame for it. Want to change the plan for it. I mean, you wouldn't pay a grand for it. Basically, you wouldn't stand for it. So you should feel us when we take a knee. For all of the blood of the stain of police. And all of the rhetoric and all that they preach. Ain't gonna bring none of them back to the streets. No, it's a problem. You know the options. Won't blame the culprit, you blame it on Colin. He just doing something when he saw the option. We must put a stop to this dangerous problem. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I try to bandage these wounds, I'm being cut. Every time I try to get past the pain, it's more cuts and it's a shame, cause these wounds are in my brain from being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. I've been cut so many times, I can't feel it no more. The same ones you give your all to hurt you the most. But I still love her, man, I trust her, cause I'm loyal like that. But it crushed me to my soul, he talking down like that. Nigga tripping by the bitch that I wasn't even fucking. Not to mention I'm a boss and this main bitch clucking. Boy, that ratchet I be clutching if he run up on me. Man, I got too many scars, tired of getting cut, homie. Fuck! Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I try to bandage these wounds, I'm being cut. Every time I try to get past the pain, it's more cuts and it's a shame, cause these wounds are in my brain from being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut. Every time I move, I'm being cut.
Warren Woodward says at Warren Woodward, how do you succeed big? Slowly at first, and then really fast. In case you missed it, Ryan Sidham at Ryan Sidham says, going to church doesn't make you a Christian any more than going to Taco Bell makes you a chalupa. That was funny. I don't think I want to be a chalupa anytime soon. The Coming of Mystery says at Pastor McCardle says, if a blind person guides a blind person, both will fall into a hole. Matthew 15:14. Amen. Brian Fashus at B. Vashus says, there are 2 options, make progress or make excuses. At Fighting Night, hashtag a million green boxes, that's one of us. Hashtag TLYAW, hashtag TPOC. All right, Brian, I love your tweets. Leadership Tips at Leadership Tweet says, well begun is half done. Aristotle. Chris Brady says at Rasco Tweets, there is no definition of true success that doesn't also include the concept of earning it. Expect it. I'm going to read that again. For those of us that are skeptical about success, this how you do it right here. Chris Brady, New York Times bestseller. I think he knows what he's talking about. There is no definition of true success that doesn't also include the concept of earning it. Expect it. Oh, we got somebody in the chat room. Let's welcome Cassandra to the show, y'all. Hello. Oh, hey. That's what we talking about. BFF, what's going down, baby? I was just thinking about you. Let's welcome Tiffany Tucker to the show. All right. Got my boss team in the building. That's what I'm talking about. I was going to get a little word there. People ain't coming in. What's going on? Nah, LOL. I am on quote for the day. I'm about to close out. I did talk about today, does relationships matter in business? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I did come from the blog on Why Relationships Matter by Kimberly Laws, propelbusiness.com/guest-blog/relationships-matter/. And we did go over some questions. Can a business thrive without relationships? You can answer at any time. Does relationships create loyalty? You can answer that at any time. And can relationships create a top-notch team? You can answer at any time. And then I announced that Reunion Season 1 starts March 1st, which is tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Season 2 starts March 2nd, and we will be doing Narcissism series. A lot of people have been coming in asking those questions. I joined a narcissistic group that talks about their relationships, trials, and tribulations, and also how they got out of those things and what it is and how it is. And for those of us that tuned in last year to Season 4 already know what narcissism is. I talked about what is narcissism, that it's a personality disorder, and that you have to first get diagnosed. You could do research on the traits and tendencies of a narc. I also talked about the narc boss. That was a special by one of my teammates, Mrs. Turner. And we broke down how a narc boss acts, thinks, a narc boss acts, thinks, tendencies, all that other stuff, and how to deal with it on the job or just don't deal with it at all. LOL. Yep. And then I also want to announce to check out Teflon Tony on Apple Music. The album is $9.99, or you can buy the song singly at $129 each, and it's free with Apple Music subscription. So let's get Teflon Tony in hand. That album is awesome. I just played Cut, Teflon Tony featuring PB the Don. If you haven't heard that, check out the podcast for tonight's show. All of that will be played, including Enough by Miss Fabulous, and also to Fresh Brew off the Magix app. So we got all that down packed, ladies. That's what's going on. Marcy Field at Marcy Field says, A2 leaders are readers because it is important in the development of original thought. I did say that. Great leaders desire to increase their breadth of knowledge and understanding. This occurs through exposure to the diversity of perspectives and insights available. Hashtag impact matters. Gordon Tregold at Gordon Tregold says, 6 keys to attracting and nurturing breakdown innovators on your own team. Let me click on that and see what that says. I like his blogs too. They're really, really good. Yeah, we're just going to wait for this to pull on up. We're going to wait for it to pull on up. Thanks for all the likes for the promo video. I know y'all like watching TV, so that's the closest I could get to TV. Got 13 views. Wow, that's cool. All right. We just wait for slow Twitter to come on. Okay, we out of Inc. Southeast Asia. 6 keys to attracting and nurturing breakthrough innovators on your own team by Martin Zwilling, February 22nd, 2018. So this is accurate. What really distinguishes the people who really change the world? And how can you elicit breakthrough innovation ideas from your current team? Breakthrough innovation is the dream of every entrepreneur, but it's still a scarce commodity. Selecting and nurturing people who are likely to help you in this regard is an even more exclusive capability, and one